This year in the NFL, there will be a few rule changes, particularly on special teams. Here with me today is Pete Cronan, 9-year NFL veteran and a 9-year player on special teams. You played on both sides of the ball, correct?
I played offense, defense, and it all came out here in the kicking game. That's the wonderful part of playing in special teams. You get the block tackle. You get to run full speed, hit people real hard. You get to do all that good stuff.
Okay, I know that Joe Gibbs had high praise for you, but we will get to that a little bit later or some other time. Mm-hmm. I want to know, what are your first impressions of the fact that the NFL will be canceling the idea of the blocking wedge?
Well, the wedge is a concept developed many, many years ago, and essentially it was named appropriately the wedge because it's designed to wedge a hole through, essentially, in theory, a wall. And if you ever thought of splitting wood using an axe on a piece of cut wood, when you drive that axe into that wood, naturally you think of the splitting action by design, and essentially it's the same concept on the wedge in terms of a kick return. It's designed to blow a hole through a solid surface and create some separation between the players, which is in many cases the quality of the athlete returning kicks today. They don't need much. And with the speed that they have, and well, I don't know if it's fearless or fearful, but you've got to have an extra chromosome to return kicks in the National Football League.
All right, well, I don't want to get too bogged down into this. We already have a little diagram going on. I'm going to hand the microphone over to you.
Okay.
And you're going to break it down. Let's see what would happen when the wedge was still in play.
So on a broader scale, once the wedge is established, these are usually guys with 70s on their back. These are big dudes. These are wide bodies. These are generally offensive linemen. Some defensive linemen, some tight ends, and what they're essentially doing is they're going to go shoulder pad to shoulder pad. And they will be in lockstep, and they will follow. You'll have a captain. And it could be any one of these four gentlemen. The captain is looking back to the return man. And wherever the return man lines up, he's adjusting left or right with about 10 yards distance between the return man where the ball comes down and where the captain establishes his position. You get about 10 yards, and everybody, the guy to either side of him, they're not looking back, but they're looking down the line to the player that's next to him, so that and if he decides to float back, the whole group floats back. If he decides to float right, the whole group floats right. So they are shoulder to shoulder. As soon as that ball is caught and the return man takes his first step, the captain yells "go," and these four wide bodies just go straight upfield. And the theory is that my job on the cover team is to get him. They don't have to worry about anybody blocking. They don't have to worry about blocking anybody, because the theory is if the straightest line between 2 points is a straight line, I have to go through them to get to him. So these guys are like a magnet. Everybody comes to them. And if people miss their blocks, or you get filtrate, or you get guys who are able to beat a block, or they were blocked and they readjust, you're going to get this basic effect. You're going to have cover people coming who have been disrupted. And the other part of this you have to remember is, depending upon what happened in front of the wedge, you're going to have the effect of somebody here, somebody here, somebody here, somebody here, somebody here. They're all. It's not one straight line. This is a straight line, and the theory being, when you get a couple of these wide bodies taking on the fodder, this back is in a position. You do get the basic effect of a solid line. And when you get disruption like this back is good enough. As soon as he sees daylight, it's off to the races. What's going to happen now is they're going to have the same concept, where you're probably going to have 3 or 4 wide bodies back here, but instead of going shoulder to shoulder, the way we described before, what they're going to end up doing is they're not going to give L1 a free run. They're going to ask one of these people to come and engage L1. And instead of having 4 people at the point of attack, they're going to end up with 2. And they may change it up. Team coaches may change this thing up. Now, having 2 at the point of attack, you're going to block this free run with this guy. You might ask this guy to come inside and pick up any color. The concept is don't pass up color. Any color that's not the same color jersey you have, you hit it. So if you get filtration, you're probably going to use one of these guys back here who's not in the predetermined wedge, where they're going to go shoulder to shoulder. They're going to double team at the point of attack. The ball carrier will fall in behind them. Same concept. You'll have a captain. He will, and there's a lot of flexibility. It depends on which hash mark the ball's kicked to, what location in the field. This may be the captain, and depending upon where the ball goes, he's either going to make him his teammate or make him his teammate. And if, depending upon which side the ball goes to, if he goes this way, and now this is the wedge, this guy no longer has wedge responsibility. What he has to do is he has to come out of here and has to block somebody. So it adds a little level of complexity to the returns, which will eventually translate to probably better coverages. Now, they're talking about player safety as the motivation. Frankly, it is about player safety, but it's not out of the goodness of their heart. It's really to protect the big investments they have in the players that are playing the game today. They don't want these guys getting hurt, because if they get hurt, they're on the sidelines and they're not getting a bang for their buck.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. With this new rule in place, do you think that it helps the return team, or will it, restrict them?
I believe it's going to help the coverage teams. Many of the rules are designed to increase offense. Depends. They moved the ball back, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago, moved the ball back, kickoff from the 30-yard line, where it used to be at the 35. They just did that in college. And the landing area, if you think about this as the end zone, NFL kickers are putting the ball in the end zone. And a lot of balls, based on where the location of the kick is, if they come in, anything maybe 3 yards deep, probably 5 yards deep, in the end zone, depending upon how the coaches want to handle this thing, anything 5 yards or less inside the end zone, they're going to bring it out. Keep in mind, if it's in the end zone, rolls out of the end zone, they come to the 20-yard line. So when you're taking something in the end zone, bringing it out, there's a risk. You got to cover those 20 yards if you want to get a return on your investment. So depending upon coaching style, who the kicker is, there's a lot of variables here. But I believe that the two-man wedge is really going to help the cover team.
Will the personnel change as far as the blockers on the field for the return team?
Absolutely. I talked about those guys with 70s on their jerseys. You may have one now. You're going to see a lot of guys with 8s on their jerseys. Tight ends, maybe some 5s, linebackers, guys who are hard-headed but probably more athletic.